Hey guys, welcome back to Practically Creative. This is Melissa. I did a art piece a few days ago where I created my own pattern for a thread spool. And when I got done with it, I put up a video. Perfect isn't required, but I do want to put a different binding on this. Somebody actually wants this. I was actually going to toss it or use it as um, a practice piece for quilting, but someone actually asked me for it, one of my kids. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new binding on this today. I've already cut some muslin to do that. And I'm just going to show you real quick how I put a new binding over an old binding. And it'll be simple and easy. So let's go over to the sewing machine and I'll walk you through this. To put binding together, the first thing I want to do is I want to join the pieces with a biased edge. We all know how to do this, but just in case, I'm going to show it yet again. I'm using my Juki. I'm using a 1.8 stitch length, and I'm not drawing any lines, but I am lining up my corners with my diagonal seam tape. And then I'm going to fold this back so I make sure that the right side is up. And put the next piece of binding on here. And I'm just going to join each of these pieces the same way. That first one I gave a little extra room to because there's a selvage edge on that piece. It shouldn't take all of this, another little selvage edge, but I want to make sure I've got plenty. And if I don't, I can actually add another piece at the end if necessary. So that's all sewn. Let's take our scissors. Leave about 1/4 of an inch here. Now all I'm doing is cutting off the excess. Pause that. Lay it out flat. And I know I have shown you guys this trick before, but this is the fastest and easiest way to put binding together. I'm going to make sure that it's folded so that the wrong side is on the inside. And I'm going to put a pin in here to hold the binding in place. And I'm going to keep it folded as I wrap it around. I learned this trick from a subscriber. And every time I use it, I think about her. This isn't hard to do. Just takes a couple of minutes. And you don't have to get out your iron to make your binding wind up to where you want it. I'm just trying to keep my edges even as I roll this up. I could probably just fold this over and do it that way, but I like using this little roller because it makes it so much easier to put your binding onto your quilt as you go. You may be able to tell this is just a piece of muslin. Since the back of my little art piece is muslin, I thought, okay, let's do this. And if you make a boo-boo, you can go back and fix it. Okay, so now we have that all wrapped around, and I'm just going to stick a pin in here to hold my binding in place while I get ready for everything else. There you go. Pin in my binding. And I am going to apply my binding to the back of my piece. I'm going to use a longer stitch length, probably about a 3 to do this. And then I'm going to start unwinding. I'm going to give myself, because this is a small piece, I'm not going to put, a 10 or 12-inch piece down there. If it were a full-size quilt, I'd leave a longer piece. I'm going to back stitch just a hair, and then I'm going to use my little roller to keep my binding where I want it to be. And despite the fact that there's binding on here from before, I'm going to go ahead and do it exactly the same way. I'm going to sew off at the 1/4 inch. I'm going to bring it back to a 45-degree angle and then fold it down. So bonus, not only am I fixing my boo-boo, but you're getting a little bit of a tutorial on how to do binding. It is a little thicker. But I'm okay with that. So what I did was I folded it back at a 45-degree angle. All right, so I'm folding it back at a 45-degree angle. And then I'm bringing it so that it's folded over right at that edge. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start a 1/4 inch in, back stitch a couple stitches, and continue sewing my binding. And I don't put pins in this. It's fairly small, so I'm not worried about that. Pro tip, don't have things sitting on your table on the other side. Fold it back at a 45. Fold it down at a 90. Okay, I had enough binding finished, no problem. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this edge over and enclose this edge in it. It's an art piece, not gonna get washed a ton of times. Hmm. And then to finish this binding, I'm just gonna fold it over. And I'm going to do this as if it were a flange bind. Well, I am doing a flange binding here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the edge of that piece just poke out a tiny little bit so that it is an official flange binding. I'm making my miter corners there. So we've got another binding on this, quick and easy. It's all sealed up, so now I don't have to worry about if it gets washed that it's going to come apart. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.